Hello! So, I just posted my 100th video to my 1v1 playlist. It's possible I missed ones to add to the playlist in the past, or that some of them are private so it doesn't even look like 100 to you guys, but point is, it looks like 100 to me. I think it's kind of exciting. So to, I guess, I don't know, mark this milestone in some way, I'm going to use this chance to make, not this chance, I'm just going to use some time now to make some videos just about rating in general, my tips. Some stuff I've figured out myself. A lot of it I've learned through people from Pogo Raids Discord. It's a great community. Pogo Raids. Definitely go there if you are interested in learning more about raid challenges. It's also a great place to do PvP drafts if you're into that. Highly recommend joining there. It's a good community. So I'm going to do probably 2 videos. This one here is going to be on just how I find a good 1v1 matchup. Second one is going to be on dodging tips. That one's going to be a little bit trickier because I need to use like another phone to record, but whatever. Anyways, this intro was maybe a bit too long, but I'll get into it now. I'll try not to talk too fast. I know that's what I tend to do, but I'll try to be clear. So here we go. Okay, so to start with, where is it? Okay. A while back, I wrote up my basic process for looking up a tier 3 1v1 in the Pogo Raids Discord in our open raid challenges channel. And these are my basic steps. So usually I figure everything out once I actually get to the raid. Because I don't use maps and stuff, it's hard for me to seek out a specific boss and moveset. So instead what I do is I just show up to a raid, look at what the moveset and weather is once I actually get into the raid, and figure it out from there. Then I'll do the following. So basically it's just going through Pokebattler from there. But anyways, if you want just kind of a nice succinct summary of what I'm going to be going through on this video, this is basically it. All right, so let's find a 1v1. So I'll go to, oh, okay. My phone was already in Pokebattler, perfect. I'm not logged in. Whatever, that's fine. I love Pokebattler. I've spent so much time on this website. Let's see. Okay, let's say I show up to Machamp raid. Sure. Let's pretend it's sunny. It's sunny where I am right now, for real, anyways. No friend boost, obviously. And then let's say the moveset is, I guess, counter close combat. That's like the classic. So what I'll do is I'll first sort by potions, and then I choose the moveset. So these are all, this is the sorted results for the fewest potions needed to totally revive your team. Oh god, no, not level 35. Okay, well, no dodging with level 40 counters. Then I gotta choose the moveset again, but it's still sorted how I want it to be. Okay. I'm gonna just say no, although that's actually kind of cool to know. I do have a max Shadow Gardevoir. Anyways, point is, so these are all the Pokemon that can, that require the fewest number of potions to defeat Machamp with that moveset, no dodging, in sunny weather. So what I usually like to do is I'll pick something that has between 1 and 2 deaths. So by that, I just mean, if you look at that little number next to the skull, that means that with the pictured moveset, the Pokemon will faint. So for this one, like 1.28 times in order to defeat the boss. So here, it always gets rounded down. And I find that if you start dodging, you can compensate for that and be able to defeat the boss without fainting if your number is between 1 and 2. Sometimes greater than 2 still works, depending on how hard-hitting the boss's moves are, because then you can save a lot of damage by dodging, but it depends. So, actually, you know what? I just maxed Shadow Mewtwo. Got a 98. Brag, whatever. So let's try this. So let's say I want to use my brand new Shadow Mewtwo that I've maxed with Psycho Cut Psystrike if I use an Elite TM. So this is just what happens if I don't dodge. It looks like I would actually go through 2 Shadow Mewtwo entirely and then faint on the 3rd. However, in a 1v1 challenge, like the whole point is that you dodge. Oh, I should also mention, the highest result here, so the lowest number of deaths, was actually with Confusion. But a lot of the time, it's a lot nicer to dodge with Psycho Cut, so that's just why I chose it here. It is a good idea to learn how to dodge with Confusion, of course. I would highly suggest it. Learning to dodge with Confusion is like I had to for a Pokédraft. That's how I kind of got into dodging in 1v1s to begin with. Definitely learn how to do that, but right now, let's just do Psycho Cut. Anyways, if I go down here, okay, actually I should probably explain what different things are here. So this just shows what the simulation is. If I move down here, this is the combat log, which tells you exactly what would happen in the raid as simulated, including how much energy the boss has and how much energy you have. You'll see that here, at the end of like the first Mewtwo, the Machamp does 3 counters in a row, even when it has 100 energy. That's because that when a boss has enough energy to do a charge move, it only does it 50% of the time. There's like a coin flip, right? So here, it still kept doing counters even though it had energy for a close combat. This kind of RNG is something that shows up a lot in raid challenges. So if you win these kind of coin flips when you want to, then that's great. If you lose them when you don't want to, then that sucks. So, okay, let's see what happens if I dodge all of the charge moves. That's what dodge special means. I think by default it usually does realistic dodging. I always set it to perfect dodging because you want to be perfect. You don't want to be realistic. You want to do a good job. So this is what happens if I dodge every charge move, but that's it. So it looks like I still can't totally do it with a single Mewtwo. I still faint, and then I need like a little bit of a second Mewtwo to get by. One thing, though, is that I think... how much damage does the close combat do, I wonder? Okay, so dodge does 13. It's usually about a quarter. I can check after, but it looks like it would probably do like somewhere between 40 and 45 damage if I didn't dodge it. Yeah, I'm just wondering if maybe with smart energy management I could get around that. But anyways, point is, it looks like just dodging the charge move isn't enough here. If I look at the battle log, you can see that each counter does 7 damage to Mewtwo. That's actually a lot. And if I dodge that, I can cut that down even more. So I'm going to switch to a dodge all sim. I always go to dodge all weave first. Dodge all weave is the most conservative, meaning that it's only using the minimum number of fast moves between boss moves. Oh, see, look at those dodge. That's not even realistic. That's just silly. But you can see that in the dodge all weave sim, it's always doing exactly 3 psycho cuts between each counter. In dodge all pro, the other dodge all version, it would actually do maybe 4 psycho cuts sometimes, because in dodge all pro, it's basically like seeing into the future to see how RNG works out and if you actually can get an extra psycho cut in. So dodge all weave gives you a good idea of what will happen if you're playing conservatively and not trying to squeeze in extra moves and not getting greedy at all. Looks like we can still do the raid, and pretty quickly too, 116 seconds. So that's cool. And pretty comfortably. 35 HP remaining is a lot. Actually, I'm going to check something. So, dodge close combat does 13 damage to me still. If I don't dodge at all, I'll have to go through here. Oh, oops. God damn it. Okay. There we go. So if I don't dodge, I'll see how much damage that close combat was going to do. 53. So it looks like I saved 40 damage by not tanking those close combats. That's a lot. Jeez. Okay. Well, that's actually more. Oh, see, and then if you run this random simulation again. Okay, so that one I had 48. This one had 47. So in this one that has 47, it looks like I'll probably be able to handle a close combat Phantom, which is nice, because the Phantom would be worth 40. So that's good. 47. I always run this random simulation again a bunch of times, just to kind of get a good sense of what a good and bad result could look like. let's see what happens here. Why I end up with 12 instead of like 30 or 40. There might be like more tanked counters or like worse RNG with close combats. Ooh, this is nasty. See, like my Psy Strike does 204 damage. That's enough to fully charge Machamp's like energy bar. So I feel like this one you definitely want to try to hit your Psy Strikes right when it almost has a close combat fill, so that it overfills the energy bar and it doesn't get to turn that into energy. Alright, I can't find an easy explanation for why I have so little HP, but of course it's possible that it's just like RNG between different runs. I'd have to count for the other one, and you know what, I don't feel like doing that. So now that I've gone through Pokebattler and I've decided that Dodge All Weave is a good strategy for this raid, what I do is I like to look up the moves involved here and their cooldowns and damage windows. So usually what I do for this is I literally just Google like Psycho Cut Pokemon Go and then it takes me to the Game Press page and tells me that the cooldown is 0.6 seconds. That's pretty fast. And then if I go close combat, Pokemon Go, tells me that the damage window is at 1 second. That's actually pretty cool. That means that once the close combat text shows up, I can actually always fit in a quick little Psycho Cut before having to dodge. That's nice. Now I'm just going to see what the data for our counter is. Okay, so here you can actually see it from like some of the information here just from the Google result, but it doesn't show me the damage window, which actually matters. Okay, so the damage window is 0.7 seconds. The point here isn't whether I can get in a Psycho Cut like before a count or anything like that. It's actually a little bit more complicated. I might actually draw this on paper to kind of show you what's up. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean by doing some, I guess, arithmetic here for figuring out how many Psycho Cuts I can fit in between each counter. Now, Pokebattler already told us that it's 3, but I'll show you why it's 3. So let's say the boss uses a counter. I've got that damage window that ends at 0.7, so this is where I have to dodge. When's the next time I have to dodge? So that would be after we add in whatever the delay is. Delay is an RNG thing. It can be either, or it can be anywhere between, 1.5 and 2.5 seconds. Then there's going to be another counter, let's say. Let's say this is, we're talking about 2 counters that are happening like right after a close combat, so I know for sure it's going to be another counter kind of thing. Okay, and then the next damage window is, again, 0.7 seconds into that counter. It looks like 7.5, that's an S. Okay, so that means that I have, at minimum, how much time is this? So this happens at 0.9, so I have 0.2 plus 1.5 plus 0.7 seconds between dodges. Which is 2.4. You don't actually have to separate it out like this. It's always just going to be 1.5 plus the boss's cooldown if you're just looking at the boss's fast move. So, but this is where it comes from. So if Psycho Cut is 0.6 seconds, that means that if I'm perfect, I could always get 4 Psycho Cuts in between each counter. But the thing is, life doesn't always work out like that. There's also like input delay, so let's say it's actually just going to be 3 Psycho Cuts. But knowing that it's that close is actually kind of cool, because that means that you might actually have a little bit of give and be able to do those 4 cycle cuts more often than not. Then, let's see what the best RNG would give us. It's 2.5 seconds plus, oh, it just blinked out. Okay, plus the 0.9 damage window gives us 3.4 seconds, which would be, oh my god, divided by 0.6. I literally have like a PhD in math. So that'd be 5 psycho cuts. So that means that Pokebattler is telling us that we should only do 3 most of the time, and I think a lot of the time I would do that, but there might be times where I could get 4 in, and sometimes I could actually get 5 in. So this is the kind of thing where it's good to really watch boss animations to know when a new counter animation is starting, and so that's like when you gotta stop tapping. Because sometimes you might be able to get in some more psycho cuts. That's important because the more energy you're able to squeeze in per boss, like charge move cycle, the more energy you can generate in there, the more size streaks you can give out. Then that means that every time you lose however much HP per boss cycle, you're able to output a lot more damage. So you're getting a lot more bang for your buck in a way. That's why that, like, if you're playing too cautiously, you can lose because you end up running out of HP because you're not putting out enough damage. You're just dodging and taking damage, if that makes sense. So this is, I guess, a long-winded way of explaining how you decide how many fast moves to do between each boss charge move. And that's actually kind of it. From there, I would just get in those 2-minute lobbies over and over again as I try to complete this challenge. This actually looks like a fun one. If I can find a champ raid one of these days, then I'll totally try it. I guess I have to use an elite TM. Whatever. What else? I think I probably took a lot of knowledge of mechanics for granted here. Something like that delay between boss moves might not be familiar to you. I don't know if I mentioned phantoms. Phantoms are when you get random damage taken away, HP taken away, that correlates to damage that you had saved earlier on. So we saw that if I tank a close combat, that's 53 damage. If I dodge it, I only take 13. So that's a difference of 40 damage. So sometimes the game will just mess up and you'll randomly lose 40 HP for no reason. That's a phantom, and they are the worst, and they have made so many people fail so many raid challenges for no reason. It's just bad programming or server stuff or whatever on Niantic's part. However, I will not get into that. I guess if there are any other things I mentioned here that aren't clear, ask questions. I can make another video. Yeah, if anybody does this raid, show me by all means. I guess that's kind of it. If you want to go to the Pogo Raid server, of course, like I said, that's a good place to find out about these challenges, including the WQ rating system. Cuddy Wow and Chopo constructed. It gives you a nice way to rate the difficulty of different 1v1s based on all sorts of factors, like how much dodging is required and length of the raid. And it's nice because that means that anytime you show up to a raid, and if you can find a 1v1, you can still find a way to really challenge yourself and put a number to that. So you can be like, hey, I did a WQ14. That's the highest. Feel good about that. And so that means that with all these boss rotations and stuff, you still have challenges they can do no matter what. So it's not like, oh, you know, like the only cool challenge is like whatever that like Mighty Moth is. Well, when Executor's gone, then it's like, well, what's a good challenge? Using the rating system, you can figure out a good challenge is no matter what. So it's just a calculator. I guess I can also include that link in the description. Yeah, I guess that's kind of it. I don't know if there's anything else, please let me know. It's probably long-winded, but there's a lot of information, and all of the stuff I do within like a couple minutes as I'm showing up at the raid, but I kind of have to explain some of it now. But it usually takes like a couple minutes, especially now that I'm used to knowing what to look for. If I don't find a counter with like good deaths and stuff. I don't know. I think that's it.